So Frank, you had a recent question for me. What was that?
Well, for years, I've been under the belief that carbs after 6 p.m. instantly make you fat.
Well, Frank, where did you learn something like that?
Well, I went to a trainer a few years ago and he really drilled it into my head that carbs after 6 are almost worse than sugars and even worse than the glutens.
So Frank, what's the difference between maybe eating your carbohydrates at 5:59 p.m. compared to, let's say, 6 p.m?
Well, carbohydrates know what time it is, and the minute it gets past 6 p.m., they instantly know that they must be turned to fat and nothing else.
So Frank, that's the nice thing about nutrition. It's actually quite flexible, and times don't govern what happens to that macronutrient when you put it into your body. So let's say your target for your carbohydrate intake for the day was 200. Now, if you had 150 grams of those carbs throughout the day, and then maybe saved 50 grams for dinner at 7 p.m., it makes no difference in comparison to maybe having all 200 grams of carbs throughout the day and then nothing at dinner.
So you're trying to tell me I can have potatoes with my supper?
Yes, Frank, so you can have potatoes with your dinner as long as you account for it in your total daily calorie intake. You know, everyone has an amount of calories that we've said before to be at maintenance, to be in a deficit, to be at surplus. So let's say you want to be in a deficit. As long as you account for your potatoes for dinner in your total daily calorie intake and you're in a deficit, then you will still lose fat and lose weight.
Wow, I didn't realize nutrition had so much flexibility within it.
But at the same time, Frank, if putting this restriction on yourself at 6 p.m. works for you and it causes you not to eat your desserts after dinner, not to have biscuits, not to have sweets, and that causes a reduction in your calorie intake and what you're consuming, then of course that will be beneficial because you are avoiding eating those foods that perhaps would put you in a calorie surplus. But if that method isn't sustainable for you and you like to go out with friends for dinner and you think that you can't order a carbohydrate, then of course you need to adopt this more flexible route where you can have carbohydrates after 6 p.m. As long as you account for it, you're okay. So, the number one thing is always pick the most sustainable and most enjoyable route for you. The number one goal with the diet is adherence. So can you stick to it? Now, if allowing yourself carbohydrates at dinner while accounting for everything leads to higher adherence for you, then that is the perfect solution.
So are you saying that sticking to a diet over a number of months is more important than following these ridiculous made-up rules?
Frank, all my clients that you see, all the transformations on Instagram, they have carbs for dinner. If I've already met the carbohydrate intake for the day, then they may not have carbs in their dinner. But I would say 90-80% of their dinners have carbohydrates in it and they all get in shape. So don't be misguided by this false information.
Wow.
So Frank, what are you going to do with today's information?
Well, I actually don't think the basics work. The fundamentals sound a bit too boring and easy, if I'm honest. I don't want flexibility. I want hard and suffering. And I've found the secret. I'm going to do a 28-day vegan, intermittent fasting, keto shred. And I'm 100% sure this one will work.